Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and I am your host, CWall, checking in as I do all throughout the football season, all throughout the year, whenever there's any and all sports going on, to give you this show solely dedicated to the latest and greatest information on the Washington Commanders. Who needs some help? The Washington Commanders have been served up in a very convincing way. Their first loss of the 2023 2024 NFL season. So, you know, first loss, everybody. The number one. Number one, we knew the team was not going to go undefeated. We knew this. I hope everybody knew this. Yes, it feels good to get a victory Monday 2 times in a row to kick off the season. But hey, this day was coming. I may perhaps it was coming. It was going to come, you all. You knew that, right? You knew that a loss was on its way. Perhaps it was the way the loss went down that has everyone the most disturbed. But at the same token, we knew that a day such as this one we're experiencing right now was on the horizon for the Washington Commanders. Now, I see Mazdak, the chaplain of CWall, has joined in. Mazdak, in case you got to spread a little love and cheer and prayer, my chaplain friend, you may have to, even for yourself, if you're feeling down yourself, given the Commanders loss. Let's get right on into it. Have a lot of content, as always, don't we? And we have to kind of get into the press conferences, the after game press conferences of Coach Ron Rivera, QB1 Sam Howell, and we'll get into some questions that I was sent over as well. Definitely want to get into those questions because they're very important. But while we're all here, let's go ahead and get on right on into it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid right on off. What's your one word to describe the game the Washington Commanders lost to the Buffalo Bills? Bills Mafia was in full effect. As I shared with you all last week, they would potentially be. It was a rainy afternoon all throughout the game. And it was difficult. Kudos to the Commanders fans that stood out there as long as they possibly could. And I see the one words coming in. Lamar Bland says gutless. Cameron Mingo says down. Any other one words you could think of to describe how you were feeling about the Commanders' loss to the Buffalo Bills? Even Mama Waller has jumped in and said, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And that is definitely one word to describe perhaps the type of loss that went down. It was a tough one to watch from all facets of the game. Seemed as though just nothing was going right. And as soon as things started to move accordingly, it was ruined, crumbled into pieces, all right before our eyes. Any progress being made offensively, suddenly shredded, taken away, literally, by the Bills' defense, by poor decision making by Sam Howell, by a crumbling offensive line, or through a fumble by the hands or lack thereof of Antonio Gibson. It was an all around tough day. And I want to put this one up here as well as befuddled as well. Now, let me be clear. I don't like it. I'm not happy about this conversation that we're having, Commanders fans. I'm not pleased with this because I am bought in from a media perspective. I'm bought in watching the tape myself and watching practices myself. I'm all the way bought in. But those are the games. And we had this conversation last year. Those are the games. Now, I'm not saying they were going to win. But what I am saying is, now, did you have to, because a couple of those points, a lot of those points, actually, like 14 of them came from offensive turnovers, right? But you still want to see a defense that didn't let the quarterback get away. And this defense let Josh Allen get away in many instances. They had him on the ropes early and they let him get away. We've seen this happen before. It's not a pretty reality. Didn't enjoy watching it for several different reasons, but that is what I saw. My overall synopsis. And then we're going to get into some of the press conference pieces now. And then we're going to get into some of the questions that Lamar Bland asked me. So check out, let's get through these pressers together. Why don't we?
Ron, obviously, Sam, the first couple games of live was well and all that. What happened today? What went wrong? Missed opportunities. I mean, that's the bottom line. First of all, you can't turn the ball over, which we did. And if you lose the turnover battle like that, you're going to get beat. And that's the truth of the matter. How did you feel Sam handled? Well, I thought he handled some of the moments pretty well. And I thought there was other ones that he probably could have done something different. We're going to get an opportunity to evaluate everything, evaluate what we're doing, make sure it's the right thing first and foremost, and then secondly, we'll evaluate how we thought the players did.
Obviously, you don't look at the tape for the offensive line and where the sort of the origin of the game, but what was going on there? It seemed like he was just under pressure the whole time.
Well, I think there's a certain point where when you get to pin your ears back, it gets tough. It gets tough. It really does. And, you'd like to be able to handle some of those things a little bit better, obviously, and we'll get an opportunity to evaluate it all.
And now, on the other side, Josh Allen, it seemed like, especially on third down early on, was able to find ways to make plays.
Yes, and again, it goes to rush discipline, being in our rush gaps. It's one of the things that we knew we had to do coming in, that was contain him, keep him in the pocket. I thought early on we were doing a great job in coverage, and unfortunately, because of that, he was able to tuck the ball and avoid the pass rush.
Ron, back to the sacks a little bit. 9 sacks today, 19 sacks over 3 games. How is something like that corrected?
Well, you got to learn from it. Okay, that's how it's going to get corrected. If you don't learn from it, it's going to happen again. So we'll coach it up. We'll try and learn from it, and we'll see what happens.
The messaging after the game, obviously not the result you wanted.
Nope.
What do you tell the players, and how do you bounce back?
Well, tell them it's football. That's just the way it is, and then you got to learn from it. And what you really be judged on is how you handle what happened today. Did we learn from it? Did we get better? Did we improve? Did we do the things that give ourselves a chance to win next week?
Ron, do you think maybe stick with the run a little bit more, especially early on with Sam?
Well, we'll see. Again, sometimes it's about the flow. I mean, we got the ball all the way down into the red zone a couple of times in the first half. Can't turn it over, and that's the unfortunate part.
Just being his fourth start, how much of this is defense starting to figure out some of his tendencies maybe, or
Well,
more about him?
I'm not sure if that's really what happened as much as that's a very good football team. That team's been in the AFC Championship probably, 3 out of the last 4 years. So it's a pretty good defensive unit that we played against today. And, when we had opportunities to make plays, you got to make plays. You got to score points. That way they can't do certain things against you and kind of dictate yourself. We didn't do that. I mean, that falls directly on us more so than anything else. They played a heck of a football game. I'm giving them all the credit in the world. But if we do some of the things that we're capable of, put some points on the board when we get a chance to, it's a different situation, set of circumstances. But I know that's all what if, but that's the truth of the matter from my perspective.
Have you had a chance to talk with Sam directly?
Just a little bit. Had an opportunity to dress the whole team. And, we'll have an opportunity to talk to Sam and try and, just talk a little bit and just realize that that's going to happen.
I think you went up to him after that pick six. Why was it important to talk to him in that moment? Did you ever think about taking him out?
No. Well, the thing you think about is, do we take him out to protect him, or do we leave him in so he can continue to learn and grow, and we want to see him handle this. We want to see him do the things that he's capable of, and there's a certain point that probably protect him probably would have been the next step.
So I saw DJ Bland's comment about Coach seem annoyed. I can always tell when Coach is unhappy, and you all probably can too now as well. When the eyes get real big and he's looking at it through his glasses, he's not happy. When he walked into the press conference room, he was looking at the stat sheet very, he was concentrating. He could have been concentrating on his notes in advance of the press conference or what have you. I want to reiterate something that Coach said, and then we'll get into one of the clips from Sam Howell's presser. And it's a couple of things, right? That is, again, the Buffalo Bills, they are who they say they are. And they have consistently been that team. And because they get right there to the championship and don't make it forward, you know that they come into the season ready to make a move. They're one of the teams where I think maybe week one didn't play as well, but they're gonna make it. They're gonna keep getting better. They're gonna keep trying. They're gonna keep plugging away. It's there's just one of those teams that you got to be ready for. And beating yourself is, I mean, they're gonna eat that up. They gonna have you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on game day. When you making your own mistakes, you're making it easier for them. You're making it much easier for a team like the Buffalo Bills when you give them 14 points, right? On top of a very smart quarterback on the offense that you hate to give the football back to. One of those series, I think it was 9 minutes and 47 seconds, the Commanders' defense was on the field trying to just contain this guy. 10 minutes is a long time for one offensive series. I mean, for one series, for either unit. But when your defense is out there plugged for 10 minutes, after that, I literally looked at my colleague Felix Trammell and I said, "Oh, Felix, they going down the tubes now. That's it for them. Okay, this is gonna start getting bad here soon. It's gonna go out of whack because that's just not." And Josh Allen is just not one of the players you want to give him that much time to wear you down, because he will, and he can, and because he's very good at that. So quick, let's check out a clip from Sam Howell's presser now.
Overall thoughts about today and how it went for you after the game?
Yeah, just gotta be better. There's a lot of things. Obviously it starts with me, and I gotta take better care of the football and do a better job. Just lead my offense. Obviously a lot of things didn't go right today, and it starts with me. But the good thing is the sun will come up tomorrow. Another opportunity to get better and go to work, and we have a lot of stuff we can get better at. So we're excited to go back and get better, but we got to play better. And it starts with me.
Sam, when you go back, and obviously you probably want to watch the film again before you really know, but just initial thoughts and what did go wrong? What were some of the issues that you felt like you were having that maybe weren't there in the first couple of games?
Yeah, just the turnovers. I just think there were some situations where I was trying to get the ball out of my hands and trying to avoid a negative play, and I just kind of forced something. It wasn't a good decision. But yeah, I mean, it's all those bad plays. I'll definitely learn from it, and I'll be better from it.
And then with the sacks and all that, for your role in that, what did you feel maybe was going on?
Yeah, it was tough, especially when you get in a situation where you're down a few touchdowns at the end of the game, and they know we're in a passing situation, so it's kind of they have the advantage as far as the pass rush goes. But I mean, I got to do a better job, and I think we can do some things better and try to limit the sacks. But yeah, that's definitely something we need to clean up.
Hey Sam, obviously a tough loss, but what are some things off the bat that you liked and that you want to build on moving forward now?
It's hard to say right now. I mean, I think we did some good things the first 2 weeks of the season, and I think early on in this game we were moving the ball. You know, we got in the red zone a couple times, but we just got to be able to finish those drives. But we know the caliber offense that we can be, and the type of team that we can be. We just got to put it together, and just try to play good football each and every week. And if you don't, and you play a good team like Buffalo, credit them. They played a good game, and we played about as bad as we could play, and that's what happens.
Sam, I know everybody says that you just flush a game like this, but how difficult is it really to do that in real time?
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality of it is, you know, you go back and you watch the film, and you don't just flush it. You know, you watch the film, you try to learn from it, because that's the only way that you're going to get better. You can't just forget about it because it happened. So we'll go back and be hard on ourselves. I'll be hard on myself, and I hold myself to a very high standard, and I didn't play to that standard today. And so I'll go back and watch the film and look at ways that I can play better.
The pick right before halftime, what happened there?
Yeah, it was a miscommunication with protection. We had a free guy, and I knew he was, and I wasn't expecting him to be free. Obviously, and that's my fault. But and I was just trying to avoid the sack and just try to get it to the check down. But he did a good job covering the check down and made a good play. But yeah, I mean, I just gotta either just throw it in the dirt or throw it over his head.
Next question from Lamar Bland. Which do you think is most true? Sam is easily fooled by what he's seeing due to inexperience, or Sam is overthinking, trying to do too much instead of taking what the defense gives him. I think is most true is B. I think he was just trying to eat. Listen, comeback heroics is like a rush. You know, it's exciting. It's fun. Oh, we came back. Woo, you know, yay. Wow. But guess what? That doesn't work every week. And it happened for you 2 weeks in a row. Your time was up for that. So you got to just play smart football best you can. No game is going to be 1,000%, 100%, even 85% perfect. But you don't want it to be 60% mistakes. So I think it was I can make a play. Oh, I can make a play. Oh, I can make a play. People got enough film on you now, brother. So you're going to have to really make a move in a positive way to even help yourself have confidence. And I really think it's B in that case where it was just him trying to do too much. Stick to it. Trust yourself. Trust your teammates. You don't have to always save the day. Just get the ball. You know, you got to move the chains one play at a time. One play at a time. Doesn't have to be a lot of heroics when you're just trying to put a touchdown in a score on the board. Do you think there should be an emphasis on getting B-Rob more involved early, or do you think EB should continue learning more on the passing game because it will eventually pay bigger dividends? Here's what I could say. I think it's more on the passing game. I'm waiting for the moment where there's a comfortability such that, and you've heard Terry McLaurin talk about the getting to the deep ball. And I think there is a desire to let the wide receivers rock. Let them fly, let them go. But because of some of the kinks they're still working out on offense, they're just not able to get there. Now, we're going to go ahead on into this next question because I already know what it is. It's about Antonio Gibson. Do you think we're starting to see the beginning of Antonio Gibson's in here in Washington? Another day, another costly fumble. In terms of B-Rob, and I'm going to say coupled with B-Rob, the use of Antonio Gibson. We've now seen 2 times in 3 weeks where Antonio Gibson had an opportunity and the football gets fumbled. And so I think what EB is trying to do is show that variety so that it doesn't come off as vanilla. So it doesn't come off as, okay, everybody knows what you're doing now, right? Everybody can pick up on what you're doing now because there are assets on offense. You have a very fast wide receiver core. You still have a dynamic tight end in Cole Turner who still isn't completely used to his full advantage given his height and given his skill set, while Logan Thomas is injured. And you should have a dynamic 1-2 punch in B. Rob and Antonio Gibson, but you got one of your running backs that can't hold on to the football. So at this point, now you got a new issue. Now, let me go back to Antonio Gibson's fumbling, because that's really not a new issue. It's new to EB, but it's not new to us, because a couple years ago, you all know, I was ready to toss Antonio. Let him go. He figured it out. It was working. Everything was going well. And here we go. I'm not real sure what that is about. But what I can tell you is this. That is a mistake that you learn in Little League that shouldn't happen. It's that the football is the most important asset on the football field. Straight up. It's the most important thing. It's the thing that everybody wants in their hand. And when you have it in your hand, you let it go. You let it go. Your opportunity to shine. And let me be very clear about something. I have never seen Antonio Gibson fumble the football in practice. So what that reads to me is that people are watching your film and they see how you are holding the football and know it is very easy to come and punch it out. Something has to give immediately. Now, do I want him to go? Absolutely not. No, because I know what he's capable of doing. But on game day, what does potential and what does your capability mean when you're not doing it when it counts? And that's on game day. I don't think, and I see this comment here from DG, our O-line is not giving Sam enough time to make a clear decision. I mean, that O-line that thing caves in like, you don't have a lot of time to count to 3 messing with them. And I don't think, let me tell you, I don't agree with Gibson's confidence being shaky. It ain't that. I don't know what it is, but he's not protecting the football. He's got all the confidence, all the swag. That's what you want in your 1-2, in your running back 1 and 2. That's what you want. Exactly everything you want. And his skill set fits Eric Bieniemy's offense actually better than Brian Robinson Jr.'s. But you utilize both of them to their skill set. Him fumbling the football ain't got nothing to do with confidence. It has everything to do with you are mishandling the most important asset on the football field. I like the mentality happening here. That everybody understands their individual role in the effort of the team being successful. And in that last attempt to try to get into the end zone, they felt like it got snatched away from them. And they wanted to try to score a touchdown. They were that mad that the decision was made to kick a field goal. It's the end of the game. Y'all getting mollywopped out here, but you still wanted an opportunity to go for 6 and then 7. I can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that. And I'm mentioning that story because it's important for fans to hear. They were upset with themselves. The level of accountability you heard from Sam Howell in the clip I played earlier in the press conference, that is the level of accountability that you heard from every player that I had an opportunity to talk to, as well as my other media colleagues had an opportunity to talk to. Everybody was holding themselves accountable and things and being very pointed at the things that they could have done better for the team to have done better yesterday. There are no excuses for week 3 play. It was awful. It was terrible. And everybody knew it. Now, when we get together again on Thursday, because I think we're still gonna do a show on Thursday, and talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and going into that hostile environment of the Lincoln Financial Field. Don't think that the Eagles will forget that just last year on Monday Night Football, it was this team in the Burgundy and Gold, the Washington Commanders, that ruined and just chopped down their undefeated streak and turn around and played their theme song, Dreaming Nightmares, all loud in the locker room and partied to their theme song and their establishment. This is not a team that has forgotten that. Okay? They remember. Don't ask me how I know they remember. But what I do know is they remember. Okay? So, you're coming off something like this. This is going to be a hard game to recover, to prove that you should respect this offense. Kill the noise about Sam Howell needing to be replaced. The defense needs to stamp, yes, respect us. We mean it. A lot of capital being invested in this position group, and we get that. And we get that. That was a day. Week 3 got us. Oh, all right, cool. But we in y'all house, and we know what we did last year, and we here to do it again, and we gonna play the song again when it's over. That's the kind of swag they gotta have going in there, because them boys didn't forget. And they're gonna be ready to throw down. For real. So, with that being said, I appreciate y'all. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation and the commentary that we bring here on the Coaching from the Couch series, Washington Commanders Update. I had a good time. Time to get week 3 behind us. The media does talk to Coach Rivera again on Wednesdays. Talk to Coach Rivera and Sam Howell on Wednesdays. Talk to the coordinators on Thursdays. Always there's players in the locker room after practice to engage with them and talk with them as well. So we'll see. We shall see what happens this week. Hopefully practice is better. Hopefully the mindset is better. Hopefully they can learn from their mistakes and just play a better football game. All right. So you all, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for taking in all of the content and commentary. Hope I answered all of your questions. And I'm going to see you guys again soon.